Live from Saratoga Race Course, opening day here. It's Chris Onorato, it's Ashley Miller, it's Onorato Company. Ash, not a bad way to do a podcast, huh?
Not at all. I mean, it's a little sunny and warm, as you may see from our shots.
Yep.
But listen, a beautiful day. There isn't much better than opening day at Saratoga, or any big day at Saratoga Race Course for that matter. And we get to do our show live from Saratoga, which is really, really cool.
Yeah. Kennedy Swedick, who's a 15-year-old from the Capital Region, just won the New York State Amateur Championship. She joins exclusive company at that age to win at that young of an age. Dottie Pepper, who you may have heard of, also did it at 15. We're going to talk with the phenom golfer coming up on today's show. We've got a top 10 quarterback list that everybody is talking about from the NFL. We'll weigh in with our thoughts. We, of course, have the Popeyes Louisiana Fast Minute, the Performance Industrial Dirty Difficult Done. But we'll get things started with the scene here at Saratoga Race Course and the 40-day meet that we're expecting to unfold. Let's get it going on Onorato Company.
This is Onorato Company, brought to you by Alpin House.
With a little bit of music in the background here too, Ash, as the PA system plays some music ahead of the gates officially opening at 11 a.m. Eastern. Of course, they open them up at 7 o'clock every morning for people to run in to get their picnic tables. They'll be welcomed back in here very shortly for opening day at Saratoga. A big summer. He's had a bunch of big summers, but a big summer has to be ahead for Chad Brown. He will likely have 3 horses in the Travers. There's even a 4th that's being thrown out there like, hey, maybe, because he had a heck of a dad in Arrogate. And so maybe Chad gets 4, but I think it's setting up to be at least 3. And that, of course, is Zandon, who finished 3rd at the Kentucky Derby. Jack Christopher, who didn't run in the Triple Crown circuit at all, but maybe the best of Chad's 3-year-old crop. And then, of course, the horse that won the Preakness, Early Voting. So, my goodness, it has to be one of these 3, right, Ash, that gets to the finish line first to give Chad his first Travers?
Listen, we kind of, without outwardly cheering for Chad Brown, he's a hometown guy, so a lot of people here at the Saratoga Race Course in particular get behind him. He's from Mechanicville, and he's had horses that we've talked about in the past, and horses in the Triple Crown races. Never gotten the Travers, and every year we kind of get on that horse and say, okay, maybe this is the year, maybe this is the year. Well, he's never had 3 options, or maybe potentially 4 options to run in the Travers. If that's the case, I think that's a whole different ballgame, what we're talking about. Jack Christopher ran here last year, and then, Early Voting, he's got some really good horses that we'll see how it plays out. We're still a long way from Travers Day. We've got a month, 5 weeks maybe, 6 weeks till Travers, so we've got a long way to go. A lot can change, but this feels different with Chad Brown. This summer feels different, and he's coming off a red-hot meet at Belmont once again, 7th consecutive training title at Belmont. So this is a guy who's feeling really good, and I think probably feels really good about his barn.
47 wins at Belmont in 44 days.
Unreal.
He's got the record here at Saratoga as well. Sam is watching. Good morning, Sam.
Good morning.
How are you, buddy? Although he wants to know, where is your hat, Ash?
Oh, so I get asked this a lot. Sam, I'm a baseball cap kind of girl, and I always say I know what I can and I can't pull off. And I don't feel like I can pull off the fancy hat, so I don't try.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm wrong.
Marcel's is watching. They always are. We love that they basically shut down the showroom every Thursday from 10 to 11 a.m. Our good friends at Marcel's. J-Man is watching. Happy opening day to you as well. And, of course, Carol, Odd People. Yes, good morning to everybody who is watching us here on News Channel 13's Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. I know Joel always finds us here on YouTube, live from the track. You got it. Braves just don't lose. Well, I don't know. They lost 2 or 3 of the Mets. We're not happy about that, Joel, but only 2.5 back as we sit here on a Thursday. I'll take it for sure. We were here very early this morning for the morning show on News Channel 13. It's the earliest I've been here, other than like standing outside waiting in line to get to the gate. I've done that overnight thing before, which is crazy.
You have?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So when I used to live up in right in town, I would drive over and I would park in either the King's parking lot, or the spot right next door, which is no longer there. And I would sit there. Yep. Had my phone with me. I'd bring a book, a magazine, or whatever, and had all I had was I had a roll of duct tape and a tablecloth. Yeah. And generally my brother and I like to get a spot at the top of the stretch. Okay. You could get a bigger picnic table where you could play some games, if you will. And so I would go sprinting towards the top of the stretch. That was usually my assignment. Yeah. So I've done that. But I've never been inside the gates and right up against the track when like 3 a.m. when I was here. It's a very cool thing to be here before the place even wakes up, before there are any exercise riders out or anything like that.
Yep. I've been here not for opening day, like to do a show, but I come here a lot for early training.
Yep.
So I'm here around 5:30. Being here for sunrise is one of the coolest things you could ever experience, because just the shadows that it creates on the track with the horses, and the pictures that you see from this place are unlike maybe any other place on the planet. So it's a really cool experience.
Yeah, you're right.
As for your running of the fans, as we call it, I would never. You couldn't pay me enough money to sit out here overnight and then run to a spot at the Saratoga Race Course or anywhere else for that matter. I just have no.
Okay.
There were tables in here when I just walked in at 9 o'clock.
I know.
Empty tables.
But you know what? I think it was a different time. This is like, 10 years ago probably now, that it felt like a different time, that people were rushing in here to get picnic tables. And I heard that it was not as nuts today and that it hasn't been to this point. So we'll see what the attendance is here on opening day. I think by the weekend, it will be all out crazy. We'll get the first grade 1 race of the meet on Saturday with the Diana, which Chad Brown will definitely win. I don't know which one of the 4, but one of them is going to cross first.
Yeah, listen, he has owned this race in the past, and I think he'll probably own it again. But it helps when you have 4 horses in a short field. Your chances of winning are pretty good. But yeah, he's had names of horses like Lady Eli, Sister Charlie. Those are horses that have done so well here at the Saratoga Race Course and that are beloved by fans here. And those are all winners of the Diana and then Rushing Fall. In 2020, he's got a whole bunch more undefeated Bleecker Street.
Yeah, Bleecker Street.
7-for-7. So, and he's got 3 other horses who I don't know all that much about, but Chad Brown and Diana have become synonymous with one another.
No doubt.
Yeah. The Turf King here, especially for that race.
Going for number 7 in that race. Nick, I threw this up earlier. He's ready to announce the number 1 quarterback. Well, I don't think it's going to be the guy that Nick would choose or expects it to be, but that's okay, because I think the guy that Nick wants it to be is not ranked as high as he should be, in my opinion. We'll get to the top 10 quarterback rankings, and this is not, for the people who want to bash it, this is a list compiled by the most qualified people in the NFL, in my opinion.
Not us.
To put a list together, right? This is not a media list. It's executives, it's scouts, it's coaches, it's players. So, I don't know. It's the one that I would put the greatest stock in. And so it's kind of, some of the 10 were interesting. We'll get to that here coming up on Onorato and Company in a little bit. When we come back here live from Saratoga Race Course, though, we've got the Popeyes Louisiana Fast Minute. We've got the Performance Industrial Dirty Difficult Done. And our guest is still ahead, Kennedy Swedick, that 15-year-old golfing phenom from Albany Academy for girls who just won the New York State Amateur Championship at McGregor Links, not far from the race course here in Saratoga. We're back right after this from the spa on Onorato and Company.
Alpenhaus RV is celebrating 58 years of family fun and camping during our anniversary sale. Shop big anniversary savings on an even bigger selection of RVs. Choose from new 2022 Avenger travel trailers for $194 a month and new 2022 Colorado travel trailers for $228 a month. Plus, all 2020 and newer RVs come with our exclusive lifetime warranty. Proudly serving you since 1964 and generations to come. Don't miss our 58th anniversary sale at Alpenhaus RV.
And now back to Onorato Company. Brought to you by Alpenhaus.
Back live at Saratoga Race Course on opening day. Chris Onorato and Ashley Miller. The trucks are out.
Sounds.
Yeah, exactly. You're getting everything. The music.
Watering the track.
We probably don't have permission to play. And the trucks on the track watering the main track here at Saratoga Race Course. Everybody in the last week has been talking about this quarterbacks list, Ash. And it is a list compiled by scouts, coaches, players, executives in the NFL.
Yep.
So it's not like an all-star list where the fans voted. It's not a Hall of Fame where the media weighed in.
Yep.
This, to me, should be the most legitimate list in terms of ranking the quarterbacks in today's NFL. You see the ages next to them as well. Rodgers, Mahomes, Allen, Brady, Burrow. Any problem for you in the top five?
No problem. I'm not sure yet. I don't know that Aaron Rodgers is going to be my top quarterback, but I don't have a problem with the top five. I may mix them up a little bit. Maybe Josh Allen 2, Mahomes 1, Brady a little higher. I think I move Rodgers down a little bit, but no problem with how the top five, the 5 in the top 5 I like.
Why wouldn't Tom Brady be number 1 on this list? Yes, he faked retirement, but when he set off into the sunset initially, he had led the NFL in passing yards, in completions, in attempts. The guy at 44, soon to be 45 years old, has not slowed down. I get it. They laid an egg in the postseason, but he is still compiling incredible numbers at his age. Why wouldn't he be number 1? He's the greatest winning quarterback of all time. I didn't see anything last year that would suggest the guy isn't going to continue to play at a high level.
Yeah, no doubt. And listen, you don't know exactly what goes into this, if it's just people picking their favorite quarterbacks.
No, I want to know who's the best quarterback. Who's the best?
But I'm saying what they picked, it's probably not just based on statistics. It's a lot of it is going to have to do with ceiling, which it doesn't make much sense because that Rodgers' ceiling is not as great as someone like Mahomes, Allen, or Burrow. I think their ceilings are much higher. But there are so many things that go into choosing a list like this that, I don't know how they picked it. I'm okay as long as Brady's in the top 5. I'm good with that. But like I said, all those, you can't go wrong with any of those 5.
Okay. I might, Mahomes is kind of an interesting case study coming this year. They lose Tyreek Hill, but they did add some good weapons to keep Mahomes on the top of his game. So I don't know that I'd move him. I feel like I'm with you. I would move Rodgers. For as great as he is and as much as I love him, I need to see him win. I say this all the time. I need to see him win. He's only reached 1 Super Bowl. Forget the 1 win. He's only gotten over that NFC Championship hump once.
And I think age has a lot to do. You know what I mean? Like, so we talk about ceiling, but also age. They're not going to put Brady number 1 because he's 44 and who knows what could happen. I just think, like, when you talk about Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen, was there a better game in recent memory than that playoff game between those two? I can't remember one in a very long time. And those two guys were at the genesis of it, just blow for blow. I mean, no defense, but it had to do a lot with what they were doing on offense. And so I think those two guys are the names that keep coming up when you talk about 2 of the great young quarterbacks. And obviously Joe Burrow is another. And a guy like Justin Herbert is on the outside in that second 5 group are guys that are on the rise. But yeah, I think Mahomes and Allen have proven they can, win pretty consistently, but you got some guys who still need to take that step.
It's interesting here too, right? That the guy who won the Super Bowl and just got a new deal with the Rams is not even in the top 5. And Matthew Stafford for his entire career has looked like he has all the tools to be a great quarterback. He put it together when he had a team around him last year to win it all. And so he doesn't even crack the top 5. Herbert is absolutely a top 10 quarterback. Is Russell Wilson number 8 and top 10 at this point anymore in his career? I'm not so sure. But
there is one missing from here for me.
Yep.
And I think it's Lamar Jackson.
Yep, no doubt.
And even if he's on the fringe, if he's your 9 or 10, I'm moving Russell Wilson out. I might move Dak Prescott out for a guy. I might move Deshaun Watson out for a guy like Lamar Jackson. I think Lamar Jackson is just so dynamic in what he does. And again, he's young. He brings that youth. So I think that's the most glaring omission. I know he hasn't won in the playoffs, but for me, he's the most talented quarterback not on the list.
Jason wants to know, where's Jalen Hurts in this list?
Well, he's got a long way to go before he gets to the list.
He does.
And I think he'll have a good year.
Yeah, you know what?
He wasn't even the Eagles' number 1 quarterback. They weren't even bought in on him until the end of last year.
Yep.
So he can't be in the top 10 of all quarterbacks.
Nick wants to know, what about Derek Carr?
Yeah.
Had a really good year last year. A lot of people forget he was on track to be an MVP more than a handful of years ago now, before he broke his leg and a playoff run for what was then the Oakland Raiders. Yeah, okay.
He feels like he'll always be on the fringe, the outside of the top 10, no matter how good he is.
Yeah. Back to the Jalen Hurts comment, though, here real quick. I was wrong on him. He, I think, is going to be better than I thought he'd be. Now, there's still a lot of growth to go for him, but he's a threat in the NFL that a lot of defenses struggle with. Like that is a headache for a defensive coordinator every single time you play the Philadelphia Eagles. He's not the most accurate guy, but because of what he's able to do with his legs, improvising a little bit.
Yeah, and listen, they finally surrounded him with weapons. They went out and made a huge move. They had a great draft day.
Yep.
They have finally given him what he needs to win. So now we see if he can win with what is actually a good team.
Yeah, A.J. Brown is going to be an interesting addition in Philadelphia. All right, when we come back here on Onorato and Company, that Popeyes Louisiana Fast Minute. I mean, we just can't stop talking about Live Golf. And the NBA is back. And it looks a lot like the regular season, unfortunately. Back right after this.
Teams, athletes, organizations. We're transforming the custom apparel industry through product and purpose. Claim your crown.
Fire, water, smoke, mold, and sewage cleanup. Reconstructing your home after a disaster can be both stressful and demanding. KPM Restoration will work quickly to restore your home. We'll help provide complete damage restoration to your property.
My problem was that I was traveling. There was a leak in my basement. We called KPM. They came in at 9 o'clock at night and were there till 2 o'clock in the morning until the problem was solved.
KPM Restoration. We'll get you back to normal.
And now back to Onorato and Company. Brought to you by Alpen House.
Back on Onorato and Company, shout out to all of our local business partners here on the show, making this show possible, live from Saratoga Race Course. Especially, a little bit of a reprieve from the sun. I'm not going to complain too much about it being sunny, but yeah, we will take it. All right, Ash, let's jump into the Popeyes Louisiana Fast Minute. You know how this works. You are first up.
All right, my Popeyes Louisiana Fast Minute is Tiger Woods sounding off. This is the first we've really heard from him and his opinion about the LIV Golf Tour. And after one of his practice rounds ahead of the British, he basically came out and said that these golfers who are choosing to go on the LIV Golf Tour have turned their backs on what has allowed them to get to where they are. It's about time, man. Like, you are golf. You're everything. You're the greatest golfer of this generation. And I think people were waiting to hear that from him. And I think if you're one of the LIV golfers, listen, it's not going to change their minds because they're doing this for the money. They're doing it because they get $100 million up front, and then they're playing for $25 million. They're not going to change their minds just because Tiger Woods said something to them. But at some point, you have to think like, ooh, man, Tiger, that he's talking about me. Tiger Woods thinks maybe a little bit less of me because I went to the Live Golf Tour. That has to affect somebody at least a little bit mentally to know that that is how Tiger Woods views it. And of course, they knew that was how he viewed it. But for him to come out and say it, good for him. And I think that's what the PGA needs. And I'm not saying that people should do it because it's what the PGA needs, but I'm glad he did it.
Yeah, I'm with you. It was time for him to speak up. He delivered as best as I think we could expect from him. Like, what did he say? Earn it in the dirt. I love that phrase from him. Guys are not really appreciative of the opportunity they've been given from the maybe down the road you're not able to play in the 4 majors. That has to mean something to this next generation of golfers instead of just the guaranteed payday. Well, easy for me to say, right? Like somebody starts throwing around $100-200 million at me that I don't even have to go earn on the course. It becomes tough to pass. And I'm setting aside all of the moral issues that people might have with Live Golf. I'm just talking about the finances here to turn down that paycheck that you don't even have to play for.
Yeah. And I think that's part of it. It's like, well, what's the incentive to go play well now? You already have your 50 million, your 100 million. Like, you don't even have to play. You can literally go out and just, like you're shooting 18 with the guys. Yep. Like, okay, I don't need the money now. I already have it. So what's the incentive to play good golf and have competitive golf? I get it. Competitors and athletes are competitive by nature, but it calls it into question. And then also, he brought up the questioning of world rankings. How does that then work?
Right.
A lot of things that kind of come into play here. He brought up a lot of good points.
Do you think there is Live Golf 5 years from now?
I'm going to say yes. If it's a yes or no, I'm going to say yes.
Okay. Interesting. And do you think those golfers will be allowed to play in PGA Tour events?
No.
Okay.
I think somehow they work it out. Although I guess if you're telling, I guess I don't know, I kind of talk myself back out of it, because if you're going to if I'm saying they're not allowed to play in PGA Tour events, well, then does Live Golf survive? Maybe not.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe some of those guys choose not to do it strictly because of that. If you're not going to allow guys to play in majors, that totally changes the story. And I think people's thoughts on whether they go or whether they don't. Because, you have your $100 million now, but now you can never play for a major.
Yeah. All right. Here's my Popeyes Louisiana Fast Minute. And I'm already a little disgruntled about the NBA being back here. It's summer league time. These games are fun to watch because you get to watch the top draft picks.
Yep.
However, the Magic, they shut down Paolo Banchero after 2 games. They said, you know what? We saw enough of what we need to see from our top pick. We don't want to risk him anymore. Here's my problem. I am all for making sure this guy makes it to game 1 of the regular season. But if he can't play some pickup basketball, and that's what Summer League is, it is pickup basketball. If you are that worried about your guy, you are sending a message to him, yes, that we value you, but maybe you're a little fragile. Maybe if you feel like something's a little off, it's easy to step back and say, you know what, coach, I'm good, can't go tonight. I can't play a full 82. The message is already being sent to these young guys that a full 82 or putting it all out there every time you hit the court is not mandatory. The mentality here is making me crazy that they can't even play NBA Summer League games. Enough.
I think this is where we'll disagree a little bit, because who cares about the NBA Summer League, number one? I don't believe that anyone really watches it, really cares who wins, who doesn't win, whatever. But when you're talking about a first-round draft pick, a top 5 draft pick, Liddell tore his ACL in Summer League. He will now be out for the entire NBA season. I'm not saying it couldn't have happened in the NBA game, but you called it pickup basketball. The second you called it that, I'm out. If that's what it is and that's how people view it, then forget it. I don't think you need to play in it. It's a pickup Summer League. Who cares? It's not benefiting him in any way. Let's wait until the real games start and hope that you can avoid injury for a pickup Summer League.
Why, if injury is such a concern, why even put them out there? these top guys, Chet Holmgren, Banchero, and Jabari Smith. Why even put them out there?
I don't think you need to.
Okay. I mean, look, I don't care at all about the NFL preseason when it comes to top picks or veteran guys. Like, Aaron Rodgers won't take a single snap, I'm sure, this summer for the Packers in an NFL preseason game, and I don't care. But basketball is not football. And if you're going to put them out there once, twice, what now all of a sudden you're just doing risk management here? Like, well, the more we put them out there, the more risky this gets, the greater percentage there's some kind of injury. Again, I just don't like the message it sends to these guys.
Yeah, I get it. And I don't even like load management during the regular
season. Well, no, that's when it's the worst. These are games that really matter.
Yeah. Maybe it's just a matter of like, and you can't do anything about it. You've already picked him. But maybe it's just a matter of like, we want to make sure he can hack it at this level. We want to make sure he's not totally overmatched if you're Chet Holmgren and people have questions about, is he big enough? Can he, bang with the big guys down low? Maybe you want to just see it quickly. Like, okay, that's enough for us to realize he's good enough.
Yeah.
That's not a good enough reason for me, but maybe that's it.
Yeah. All right, quick time out here. When we come back in just 30 seconds, our conversation with the New York State Women's Amateur Champion at just 15 years old. We're talking with Kennedy Swedick next on Onorato Company.
You've heard of unsung heroes. The men and women of Nyskoba are the unseen heroes. For the past year, you've learned about our many charitable endeavors. Now it is my privilege to share with you the work performed by our members, the 20,000 state correction and law enforcement officers shielded from view. They work in difficult and dangerous conditions and are an extension of the police who protect our neighborhoods. Nyskoba honors New York's police and firefighters and salutes its own members who help deliver a peaceful night's sleep.
And now back to Onorato Company, brought to you by Alpenhaus.
Welcome back to Onorato Company. We are lowering the median age of the podcast with this next segment. We could use a little youth. I'll speak for myself. We could use a little bit of youth. And 15 years old, Ash, and Kennedy Swedick from Albany Academy for Girls, as a viewer pointed out this morning. Hey, mention Albany Academy for Girls, wins the New York State Women's Amateur. Incredible.
Yeah, no doubt. Listen, playing beyond her years at this point at 15 years old, big things ahead for her. But yes, we are excited to have her on because she's the talk of the town. She's the talk of our station. She's the talk of my family. So let's get her on here.
It's awesome. All right. Kennedy Swedick wins the 92nd U.S. Women's Amateur Championship. Kennedy, congratulations. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for having me.
Do you feel different this morning? What was that experience like for you? Because listen, you were playing, we called it the women's amateur. This is beyond your years. You're playing against women who are 22, 23, 25 years old, and you're a 15-year-old out there. How did it feel to win that?
It felt incredible. Yes, just incredible. I'm so honored to win it. To be on the same trophy as Dottie Pepper, it means so much. And it's incredible. I woke up this morning, I have the trophy right up next to my bed. So I looked at it, I'm like, oh my gosh, I won.
Will you take the trophy to your first day back at school in the fall?
No, I think I'm gonna keep it for a month. I'll leave it in my room, leave it there as motivation. But I think I'm gonna give it to like McGregor so Joe can put it up in the pro shop.
Boy, you're so much better than me. I would have that thing through the hallways in every class. I would be so obnoxious about it. That's what makes you a good winner. And obviously you've won a ton.
Yeah. That would be cool to go around school with the trophy, but no.
Kennedy, we were scoreboard watching yesterday. I was there for a few holes. Can you take us through those final 6 holes though? So you guys were tied basically for the whole final stretch. And then on 18, you're able to par and obviously Lauren bogeys to give you the title. Were you tensed up? Because you feel like you play a lot of just kind of free and easy golf. Did you get nerves? Did it feel like something really important was on the line?
Oh, definitely. Absolutely. Because Lauren was just such an incredible player. It was a battle throughout the whole thing. And especially in like the back nine, we were either tied or like I think I was one back at one point, and it was a real battle. So I think just trying to stay in it and stay patient. She never faltered. She made everything, and I just knew that I had to stay in there, and I knew that hopefully something good would go in my favor. And 18, the wind was blowing, so I just knew I had to get on the green, try to make my putt, and just hope for the best. So.
At what age, Kennedy, would you say you knew, not other people, but you knew that golf is something you were pretty good at?
Well, I started at 8 years old. I signed up for a golf summer camp, but then I did drive, chip, and putt, and I just absolutely fell in love with it. And that's when I really started to get into the game. Just look at it. I mean, obviously, Augusta is like the place for golf. So, after that, I was like, I really want to do this. Like this, I want this to be my life.
Okay, so not even 8 years later, here you are at 15, and you are the New York State Women's Amateur Champ. Did you think at any point, I could win this thing as, I'll say teenager, but you're on the early side of being a teenager. Was this something that you thought, this is achievable for me, I'm going for it?
Definitely. I mean, I think Anders brought up the tournament to me this like January or February or something. I'm like, oh, this would be like really. So I worked hard. I mean, I've played in a lot of tournaments. I was like, oh, this one would be really awesome to win. I looked at the long list of winners. I'm like, oh, I really want to do this. So I've been working hard the last couple months, and so I was, especially the battle on the back nine. I was like, okay, like let's get this into the gear. Like this would be absolutely amazing.
Kennedy, Anders gave us some stats, and you mentioned the back nine. Listen, you were great all week long, or all the 2 days, 3 rounds long. But the back nine, you totally crushed. Did you feel more comfortable on the back nine? Because Anders was talking about, so holes 2 through 4. Listen, I made a graphic. I came prepared today. Holes 2 through 4, you were +5. Every other hole, you were -14. And on the back nine, 12 and 14, you birdied twice. Did you feel really comfortable on the back nine? What is it about a golf course when you kind of know, like, all right, I feel a little better here than maybe I do here?
Yeah, I really loved the back nine because there's a couple gettable holes for me, and that just really fit my game a ton. And my putting was kind of clicking, especially on the back nine. I don't really know what it was, but it just ended up like everything. My game clicked on the back nine because there was a couple of par fives that like I could reach. So I was like, okay, let's go birdie those. And it was just like a different mindset almost, because I was like, okay, we already did the first 9. Like, let's go attack the second 9. So
you've mentioned that you've thrown the name Anders out here a few times. We should say Anders Matson, who people in the capital region who are golfers or fans of golf certainly know who he is. He's a personal coach of yours, right? And he was on the bag for you in this tournament. How much food would you say he's able to eat in a single round of golf?
It's impressive. Honestly, it's very impressive. My dad always carries a bunch of snacks, and I don't really like to eat on the golf course. So my dad was like over the moon to have somebody eating the food. So I think he packed his own snacks, and then he ate all of those. And then he kept asking my dad, like every single hole, like, hey, do you have a protein bar? Do you have a sandwich? It was impressive how much he ate.
I was going to say, this is a little bit insider info because I was there learning all of this stuff as I was walking 18 on Monday. And your mom, I think your dad went to the snack shack and ordered 2 hot dogs. He was like, 1 for Anders, 1 for Kennedy, or 2 burgers, whatever it was. And then your mom was like, and I brought peanut butter and jelly sandwiches for both of them and bananas for both of them. She's like, Anders loves to eat.
Anders loves the snacks.
That's awesome. Like we said, 15 years old. It's something Dottie did as well. The greatest golfer to come out of this area to this point. She's got a challenger coming up here. There's one hole on the McGregor course, or at least over the last couple of days, Kennedy, that I bet if you could go back and play it every single time, or if there was a 1-hole playoff, you would choose to play this hole because you birdied it all 3 times. Do you remember what hole that was?
I think the 6th hole.
Winner, chicken dinner.
I say this to Ashley all the time, and maybe that was an easy one for you, but athlete recall to me is one of the most fascinating things ever. You played 54 holes of golf, and you're like, yeah, I remember the 6th, I birdied all 3 times. What was it about that hole that gave you an advantage, do you think?
I think that was a par 5. So I think I got close to the green. I think I hit the green once and then got close. So I think one from the bunker, I got up and down, and then I think it was yesterday. And then the day before I got up and down from just to the right. So I think my drive was long enough that I had a shorter club in, and I got up and down on that, I think 2 out of the 3 times, and then I had a 2-putt. So I think the shorter par 5 definitely helped because I have like a pretty good amount of distance. So getting that birdie all 3 days was just a confidence booster to go into like the last stretch of holes.
Kennedy, this is just the start. I mean, you were on the Epson Tour at the Twin Bridges Championship, and you got kind of a taste of what pro life would be like. How much did you learn from that? And how much did it kind of prepare you to come into this weekend feeling like, all right, well, I just played with some more of the best golfers in the world. So now I'm going to get a little bit more of an advantage in terms of people that, you know, are closer to my age and hopefully my skill level, and I can come out there and compete with them.
Right, definitely. That experience, I'm just so grateful to be out there. And the people I played with are amazing. They shared like some info about like their lives, and it's just really cool to see like them living out their dream. I think, as I said, with you, I think that day, just really cool to see what they're doing, like how they're practicing, and like what I need to do to get my game to like their level. Just what like things in my game that might need a little work. And I actually practice like Sunday a lot on short game, and I think that definitely helps coming into Monday, Tuesday, because I practice a lot of chipping, and that definitely worked out. Got more up and downs this year. But yeah, it definitely helped. Just being out there with them is it's amazing.
You don't have a ton of time to enjoy this. I know you're going to play some golf today. You're on your way to Kentucky this weekend. Anders sent me kind of a snapshot of what your summer will be like. You're going out of state again at some point this summer. I'm curious, despite all the success, right, which makes it easier to continue to tee it up as much as you do, how is it that you've managed to find the right balance, whatever it is, that you're still 15 and yet wanting to be as competitive as you are and wanting to be on the golf course as much as you are, right? I'm avoiding here using the phrase burned out, but how have you managed to find that balance? I'm sure your parents and Anders talk to you about that type of stuff, right?
Yeah, definitely. But I just love the game. Just honestly, just being out there is so much fun. I think the balance between just tournaments and going out with like friends and just playing with friends, playing matches, because I'm like really competitive. So not only with like tournaments, but playing with like, I have a couple of people that I play, just like I go out and we play an 18-hole match, and I love doing that. So finding the balance between like grinding out for a tournament and grinding out for like a friendly match, I think I absolutely love the game. I love traveling, which definitely helps. I love like going out and staying in hotels. So just this whole summer, I look forward to every single tournament and every single day. So
cool.
Chris, we can't really compare. So Chris and I, we would say we do not play golf. When we do, it would be like once every few years. The putting stats that Anders gave us, as well as the driving stats, are pretty ridiculous, because just in terms of like how we think of a normal golfer. So Kennedy, you hit 100% of your putts inside 6 feet, which people will be like, oh yeah, but that's how you win. Like that means you're not making mistakes, is what that comes down to. And you only missed 1 putt inside of 15 feet on the back nine. 15 feet is a long putt for people who don't golf. I would miss that putt 8 out of 10 times. Chris and I would. And then on the drives, I believe you only had 1 ball out of bounds the entire tournament. That's 54 rounds, 1 ball out of bounds. I said to Chris, if I played 54 holes, my goal would be to have fewer than 54 balls out of bounds. That's pretty impressive stuff.
And let's be clear, Ash, if you took a 15-foot putt 10 times, you'd miss it 10 times.
Oh yeah, I would 3-putt it 10 times.
Yeah, I've been working really hard, especially on like 6 feet and in. Anders gave me like a ton of drills. I'm like, Anders, just give me all your drills for 6 feet and in. So I've been working a lot on that, especially the last like 3 weeks. I'm like, okay, I really need to focus on this, because I think in like prior tournaments, I definitely had a couple missed spots. I'm like, oh, I should have made that. So I didn't want to like have those regrets after the tournament. So I worked a lot on that. And then I had, I think my mid putts were also like, I really wouldn't make a lot of putts outside of 6 feet. And I think that was like, I didn't really get a lot of birdies, like when I had a putt outside of 6 feet. So I said, I need to work on that as well. So I just really liked seeing all the hard work pay off for that. And so I'm definitely going to use that to help my other parts of my game. So
Stuck that shot right there. Stuck it.
Yeah. And here's a putt inside 6 feet. All right. I have a recall question for you. One more here, Kennedy, before I let Ash have kind of the final word on this whole thing. Well, Ash already asked you about the one out of bounds.
I know. I stole a lot of them.
What hole did you hit it out of bounds on? Do you remember?
2, the second hole.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
back 9, which we've already talked about, was your strength. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was after my second 18 on the first day, and I don't honestly know what happened. I just got up there, and it's kind of a tight hole. I don't know. I might have just lost focus for a second, but yeah, I'm just glad I got to bounce back after that, because I think second and third hole, I think I got double, then a bogey. But then I was like, okay, like we got this. Like I know I've been good on the back 9, so let's just get a couple birdies.
You've been good on the back 9, but you've been good on this course. You won the New York State Public High School Athletic Association Championship on McGregor a little more than a month ago. Now you've got the New York State Women's Amateur at McGregor yesterday as we record on a Wednesday. Kennedy, I know we said you're going to Kentucky. Can you tell our viewers what's next for you, the tournament you're doing in Kentucky, and then what the rest of your summer looks like?
Yeah. So I have the U.S. Girls Junior. I did a qualifier, I think 2 or 3 weeks ago. And so I qualified for that. That's Kentucky. I think it's Old Stone, Kentucky, I think in Bowling Green. So I'm really looking forward to that. That is, I think Monday, Tuesday is stroke play, and then there's a cut, and then match play after that. So that's a really, really fun tournament. I played in that last year, and I absolutely loved it. And then I think the next week or within like a week and a half, I'm going to Chicago for the PGA or Girls Junior PGA Championship. So I'm looking forward to that as well. That's another big tournament. I think that's possibly 4 days. And I think it's 2 days, a cut, and then cut after the third day as well. And then I have a couple AJGAs that I'm playing in. And then I think I'm trying to qualify for the U.S. or the girls 4-ball too. I think there's a couple other tournaments that I might have forgotten right now.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, we said it's going to be a busy summer. Here is a look at the final leaderboard at the New York State Women's Amateur Championship that Kennedy Swedick from Albany Academy for Girls won by that one shot.
And that'll tell you just how hard the course was. Everybody else was over par.
Correct.
It was Kennedy and Lauren. Everybody else was over par.
Yeah, exactly.
So not an easy course. You guys just made it look a little bit easier. But
yeah,
right,
the course was.
How many schools have offered you a scholarship so far?
Well, June 15th was when they could start talking to me. So a bunch of colleges, I've called a bunch of them. A lot of them have emailed me trying to set up calls. But yeah, it's been like a really cool experience. It's just I have my options open right now, and just looking into all these colleges and seeing like where the next 4 years of my life could possibly be. It's really incredible.
Well, we know you're a good student, so the door is very wide open for you. Obviously, you're an incredibly talented golfer, so we can't wait to see where you end up. We hope it's somewhere warm-ish so that when we come visit, we can watch you play golf in some warm weather.
Yeah, whatever it is, you've earned every single bit of success that you've had so far, and we know that more is coming to you because of the work you're putting in. This has been fun. I'm glad it's the first time I've had a chance to really talk with you at length. I remember seeing you last year on the Symetra or the Futures Tour, whatever it was then, with Anders, but I'm glad that we had a chance to do this. I know Ash has been following you step by step. So thanks for taking the time, and congrats, Kennedy.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I had a lot of fun.
Happiness is found in simple things. The sun on your face, sharing laughs, at the campground, getting wet, relaxing together, the love of family. There's never been a better time to go outside and play. Alpenhaus Pool Spa Boat and RV. Bringing families together and creating memories since 1964.
And now back to Onorato and Company. Brought to you by Alpen House.
Back live now at Saratoga Race Course. Chris Onorato and Ashley Miller with you here on Onorato and Company from the News Channel 13 platform, trackside here at the spa. What a beautiful day
bad, right?
out here for opening day at Saratoga Race Course. No, absolutely incredible. Nothing to complain about here. Although we have some complaints, as you would expect on any kind of sports talk show. We have some things to complain about, and that's why we have a segment like Dirty Difficult Done, thanks to our people at Performance Industrial.
And now, Dirty, Difficult, and Done. Presented by Performance Industrial.
All right, Ash, you know how it goes. You are up first here. Your Dirty Difficult Done, the Triple D. Where are you taking us?
I'm going to take us to Toronto because Charlie Montoyo has been done dirty, as we say. He's done in Toronto, but he's been done dirty because he was fired by the Blue Jays Wednesday, as we are here live on a Thursday. And listen, this is a team that was 46-42. Not great. I get it. And a team that is loaded with talent. Have they underachieved? Yes, they've underachieved, but they're in a division that is stacked. The Yankees are playing like world beaters. I don't know that anyone expected that. The Red Sox have been very good. The Rays are good, but we knew that this was going to be the best division in baseball. There is no question about it. They're not out of the playoffs. Listen, they were standing in the last wild card in the AL when they fired him. So it's not even like they were so far out of the playoffs or so far underachieving that they weren't going to be into the postseason. How you fire him mid-season, to me, that's done dirty. Yeah, at least let him get through the season and either miss the playoffs or make the playoffs, but there's a good chance that that team ends up making the playoffs anyway. So to fire a guy, it feels just like a real kind of just reflex reaction to a not-so-great start.
Right. Not great. Not as good as they thought it would be in Toronto, but not awful, as you said. They're in the playoff picture. They're in the hunt, as we've already crossed the halfway mark of a 162-game regular season. We're closing in on the All-Star game, which we'll get to here in a second. It felt like a knee-jerk reaction to me too, Ash. Exactly what you said. How about this on Montoyo? I heard this the other day, that he's the first Canadian-born to manage a baseball game in Canada, or for a team based in Canada. Because either way, like, okay, not a lot of Canadians currently holding down managerial positions in Major League Baseball. How about the Royals situation? As I'm gonna dovetail off Toronto here. You got 10 guys on the Kansas City roster that can't play in a series in Toronto because they're unvaccinated. And again, I don't care what you choose to do, okay? But when you are a part of a team and there are other people relying on you, there's a bear of responsibility here. 10 guys. A bad baseball team in Kansas City, fine. But I did think to myself, what did I say to you? We're sitting at home. You know what I said? Be careful, New York Yankees, of trading for a guy like Andrew Benintendi. Because if you end up having to play Toronto somewhere in the postseason or in a really important series in September because you're dealing with home field advantage against Houston, right? I'm not saying the Yankees are going to lose the division, but what I'm saying is home field advantage will be a factor in the second half of this season. I would be wary of that type of stuff.
Listen, it's funny because I almost forgot that this was a thing. That tells you how quickly we tend to forget. I almost forgot that it was a thing, that you had to be vaccinated to go to Toronto, and that there were players who weren't vaccinated who couldn't go to Toronto, until the headline was 10 Kansas City Royals. Like, that's a third of your team that is not going to travel because they're unvaccinated. Now you are affecting the outcome of games. Because people are unvaccinated. So we go back to this, but you're right. If I'm the Yankees, I am so off on Andrew Benintendi now just for that reason. And listen, that was a decision that he made. If that's the Yankees' decision to stop chasing him or try not to trade for him because of that, then that's their choice. And to be honest with you, they shouldn't trade him.
and it's not a political statement. I need guys who can help me every single night. I can't worry about the status of you because you're vaxxed or not vaxxed. Nick has his own triple D here. He says, difficult. O's win 10 in a row. You're right. I mean, I think the O's winning back-to-back games in certain years could fit into the category of being difficult. All right, quick timeout here on Onorato & Company. When we come back, My Dirty Difficult Done, brought to you by Performance Industrial. Hang on, everyone. Back in a minute.
I don't care what kind of stories that's been told on you. That may be a lot of things in life you used to do. If you can't give true love to me, I'll understand. Just do the best you can.
Michelob Ultra, 2.6 carbs and 95 calories.
At Marcella's Appliance Center, our commitment is to you, providing essential appliances that families depend on for cooking, refrigeration, cleaning, and sanitation, plus appliance repair. You can have peace of mind that Marcella's is here for you today and every day, like we have been since 1957, helping you make the right choice with trusted brands like Whirlpool, Maytag, KitchenAid, Genair, and many more. Shop Marcella's Appliance Center in-store, online, or by phone. We're here for you.
And now back to Onorato and Company, brought to you by Alpenhaus.
And a shout out to the team at Marcella's, Johnny and Nick, and their support of this show each and every single week, and really from the very start. So our thanks to Marcella's, as we will bring you our Marcella's MVP of the month each and every month. When we get towards the end of July, Ashley and I will pick the best performers of the month of July. I went Aaron Judge in June. That was a layup. And then you went Cale Makar. Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll go a horse this month. That would be cool.
Yeah.
Although they're not going to race more than once. So maybe August I'll do a horse that won July, August.
The Marcella's MVP mare of the month. Bless you. Okay. All right. That joke just went nowhere. Here we go. All right. This is my Performance Industrial Dirty Difficult Done. The Home Run Derby is going to be dirty. And that's in a good way, because the Home Run Derby, thank goodness for Major League Baseball players having some guts. And I don't say that a lot about guys. You don't see superstars do this in the NBA. This is the dunk contest. This is the equivalent of the dunk contest at Major League Baseball's All-Star break. And you don't get superstars in the dunk contest. You don't get the big names that we should get in the dunk contest because they're afraid to lose. They're not afraid of getting injured. There's none of that garbage. They are afraid to lose. And that's embarrassing, that you are one of the great athletes on the planet and you know you're a great dunker and you still won't go out there and do it. So thank you, Major League Baseball sluggers, for embracing the Home Run Derby. And no, it doesn't mess up players' swings, okay? I'm not going to get into that. You're a professional baseball player. You can take some hacks and not let it ruin the next 3 months of your life.
Yeah.
So Pete Alonso is back. Good, Pete. Love it. He's going for 3 of these things. You got other stars like Juan Soto, superstar in the sport. Ronald Acuna Jr., dude tore his ACL a year ago. He says, you know what? I'll go out there and take some hacks. Good. He's a superstar. We need him in competitions like this. Jose Ramirez. Okay, maybe a little under the radar, but he's a really good player in Cleveland. Good for you, Jose Ramirez. And then you kind of get the sentimental favorite in Albert Pujols. Is he going to win the thing? No. Is he going to maybe break a hip? Yeah. Maybe. But you know what? Who cares? Yeah. People will watch because Pujols is in this thing, because he brings a level of entertainment as a surefire Hall of Famer to take part in the home run. Good for Major League Baseball sluggers. to embrace this competition. Thank you.
No doubt. I wouldn't say it's like, listen, you're a lot more apt to get hurt in the home run derby than you are the slam dunk contest.
Okay.
I just think because you're taking so many swings and listen, the act of hitting a home run out, like when you're really trying over and over and over, is not something that they are used to doing. Even in BP, that's not what they're doing.
Yep.
But I agree. Go play in it. It should be, and especially the young stars. Like, okay, if you've got guys who are on kind of the back end of their career, I don't blame them for not wanting to do it. But yes, the young stars should be in it. Aaron Judge, I get it. If he doesn't want to, I get it. He's on pace to hit a whole lot of home runs this year for a very good team.
Yeah.
You just don't want to mess up a good thing. I understand. But I love that Pete Alonso is doing it.
But at least Judge has done it.
Yeah, no doubt.
You know, that is part of his responsibility as one of the great home run hitters in today's baseball. You have to at least do it once. If you hate it, fine. We won't ask you to come, but you owe it to the competition. You owe it to the fans. You owe it to baseball in general to at least do it once if you are a great home run hitter. So I give guys a pass, like Judge, even though he's got 30 years, up to 31, you know, that you did it once, you don't want to do it again, fine. But there are NBA superstars who have never done it, and they come up with every lame excuse in the book as to why they don't want to do it. And I'm with you. You are more likely to get injured in this, swinging as violently as some of these guys do. One name I left off, Kyle Schwarber, who, as we sit here, leads the National League in home runs. So good.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's going to be awesome. Listen, there were broadcasters who, when these names started to come out, it was like, holy cow, this could be one of the best home run derbies we've seen in a long time because you have the star power and the pop. Sometimes you get like some random guy who just like doesn't hit a lot of home runs. You're like, what's this guy doing in the home run derby? Oh, he's filling a spot. We don't have that this year.
Yeah, no, it's going to be good. All right, here, last couple of moments as we are live from Saratoga Race Course on opening day. Yanks will win the AL East. You're not worried about that in the second half of the season, are you? Will the Mets win the NL East? Scherzer's back. The dude has looked as dominant as ever. And Jacob deGrom is really on the doorstep of coming back for the Mets here. So he's had a couple of rehab starts. He's looked good. The Mets like the way he's throwing. He's happy with the way it's gone so far. It looks like deGrom is actually going to make it back this year. I have my doubts that he'll make it to the end of the year. But either way, the Mets are set up here really well with deGrom, Scherzer, Walker. Bassett pitched pretty well his last time out, and a 2.5-game lead as we head into the weekend.
Yeah, I think if deGrom comes back healthy, I think it's a done deal in the NL East. If it's just Scherzer though, and you don't get deGrom back to his old self, then I think it becomes a question mark. And can the Braves catch them? Well, they're already there. Yeah. Can they surpass them and keep that lead over the Mets in the NL East? The Yankees is a done deal. I'm not worried about that. That lead is too big, and we've said it before. That's a division that they're just going to beat up on one another the whole time. That a 14-game lead can't go anywhere when you're all playing one another and just stealing games back and forth. So for me, I don't think that lead's going anywhere.
Does Judge, because this is really the last show we'll do before the All-Star break, a little earlier start time next week for everybody, live from Novice Clothing Company, new headquarters. I mean, plush space over there in Albany. Will Judge pass Roger Maris? I'm going to say, I'll answer for, I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no.
I'm going to say no, too, just because I don't know that it's a pace that he's going to sustain. In the past, the All-Star break has been a bad thing for him. When he's going well, you don't want it to stop. The All-Star break is generally kind of disruptive. Yeah. So I'm going to say no, just because I also think the pace is just absurd. So
CJ North, our chief videographer, is here in the last 10 seconds. CJ, will Aaron Judge hit more than 61 home runs this year? CJ says no, too. He's a diehard Yankees fan. Diehard Yankees fan. So I got one with Ash, and I got one with CJ who says, no, not going to happen. Thanks for watching, everybody, live from Saratoga Race Course.